She's only in my poetry. So these are a few poems, a few of the Maria poems. I've written, I wrote the first one in 1975. We've been married 8 years, and I fell in love with my wife all over again, and wrote my first one, and I've written 54 since then over the past 40 years. So this one is Maria's Heart. Or whichever organ it is, hurts from what we miss, bears the tiniest tear in the shape of where she was born to be in her long, thin native Chile. Given up against her will, once love had made her feel through affection's forceful sway, she must forsake it and come away to this foreign place as any African slave, or more like the poor and oppressed, still brave immigrant hardship, as did the Irish and Russian Jews. But those of their own volition would choose to take the risk and make the voyage in a cramped, unhealthful steerage. If surviving to land on Ellis Island, arriving barely to understand the official exam would undergo, if answered wrong, stamped mentally slow. Deported alone, separated from parents whose family name anglicized by authorities, and on Galveston Isle the same. Quarantined and lined up all in the nude for delousing by inspectors whose forebears earlier sued to enter the red man's space, any indignity ready to endure, since each and every self so wonderfully sure in its innocent soul, or whatever it is, suffers pain for future bliss. It would soon find freedom's hope fulfilled, but with her longing for home unstilled, the rip from that rift now throbs again, its wound still seeping deep within, and all because her coming here cut her off from a relationship first and forever dear. Her maiden name replaced by mine, a Scottish on paperwork she has had to sign, on her alien card, rude agents review with any trip, since she won't surrender her Chilean citizenship. And how does this make me feel, her having come against her will? Oh, torn in two, though in the end I know she stayed, and as yet no law has passed to send her back again, and so have tried to believe it's right in the logic versus emotion title fight. Decision should go to the breakable heart, if that's the body's loving, irrational part. Now I'm reading this one for my friend Ken Fontenot, who will be reading here his new book in 2 weeks. Ken said he liked this poem, so that's great that somebody likes these things. Maria's diet. No physician she had seen here in the capital city of this Lone Star State could find any reason for the aches and pains in her every joint, arms, legs, back, and neck, or why, when she walked, her feet went snap, crackle, and pop. Ran every kind of test, sent her to a physical therapist, declared her muscles limp, tried to pump them up. But neither exercises nor lifting weights, nothing would bring relief. Not until she traveled to her native land and saw Dr. Silva, a Chilean who, by peering into her iris and glimpsing signs no x-rays ever reveal, diagnosed her fibromyalgia. His practice not limited to traditional cures, but including hot, wet towels, cold mud packs, herbal teas, but most of all, her vegan meals. No meat, fish, eggs, or cheese. Her friends asking her, how can anyone live like that on salad, fruit, and veggies? In reply, would tell them, long ago, Thoreau, her hero, wrote, cows survive on grass. But if she herself cannot, neither can she taste again eggplant baked with olive oil or Irish potato wrapped in foil, since the two contain solanine, can cause arthritic pain, debilitates by poisoning connective tissue. Yet now she's doing fine, thanks to food she never consumes, and to her countrymen spied and identified symptomatic motes with his beamless medical eye. Did you get the biblical allusion?
I missed the biblical.
Kurt? Huh?
I missed it.
Did you get it, Ken?
I was just so busy liking the poem.
Oh. Did anybody get my biblical allusion?
Tell us, Dave.
The beam in the eye.
Reveal it.
Huh?
The beam in the eye.
The beam in the eye.
Ah, there you go.
The mote, you can't see the mote in the other person's eye for the beam in your own. Oh, thank you, Foster. My faith has been renewed. Okay, well, this is the last one of the Maria poem. This is one of my favorites because I like to begin a poem and the ending goes right back to the beginning. See if you can see that that's true. Maria, of course, it's long, so by the time you get to the end, you forgot. Maria's redecoration comes twice a year when she changes with spring and fall to seasonal shades, as do the skies, grass, and leaves. Repaints the shelves, replaces light green plates or blue on white with a yellow autumnal set, and then rearranges furniture in the living room and washes, starches, irons, and fits homemade covers on garage sale finds, the sofa couch and cheap love seat. Takes down and alternates framed prints and exhibit posters with mostly Santa Fe and Taos themes. Her impressionist Connecticut scenes are her favorite Matisse of a young woman sits with a blank book upon her lap. Replaces a copy of Thoreau's Maine Woods River Trips with his wild fruits, and moves antique crocks from above the pantry to cabinet tops. Brings back sailboats dry docked in closet or garage to launch them on the mantle again. Its fireplace rarely used in this Texas weather, removed when her keen nose detected the reek of rat droppings in nest of its pink, fluffy insulation. For must have every 6 months a different look to keep mind and eyesight fresh, while I, a creature of habit, complain, but then on giving in, lift, cart, and resort to the brutish force she's ever against, although she will allow it as a necessary, helpful ill. And in the end, I must admit, such exertion does renew the spirit, but mostly the getting to see her creative touch with the old decor is all it takes to learn change is better than sane, except for this year-round loving her. That's her. Okay, so we got married because of jazz and poetry that ended me up in her country, and we had a family. So I wanted to read a poem about our son, the elder of our two children. Our daughter, I have a poem on her, but it's in another book, and I had so many books, I decided no. Besides, the time was going to run out. So anyway, I like this poem about my son. And the title is something of a pun. I like puns. I know they're the lowest form of wit. Before the fire, the kindling stacked, the shavings set, the first fire in this new home grate blazes up in his sparkling eyes. As I stoke with fears, build worries out of what if, and if, then when I'll have to move the family again. Feeling how a boy's mind yearns to make the signals out, even if it burns. Distant now, he stirs embers with a stick. I, with thoughts of living in the thick of things. A colleague fired, the threat conveyed as even here this fireplace heat. A night, he draws forth his flaming sword, lifts it to the blackened flue, one bright guard against the dark. I'm wondering who comes next, nearer now on the enemy's list, at every rumor vexed. Staring awed into the open hearth, he spots a blue gas streaming out. I'm remembering Watts as he proclaims, "It's dragon's breath," then asks, "What are those red-looking bricks?" jabbing at the glowing rectangular hunks of vibrant fiber, uncovering charred chunks. Smoked, he declares, like a ribbed eraser he cleaned at school. I reach for a chaser. Recall how easy a man's rubbed out, his job done away with, days filled with doubt, cheeks flushed as coals, and so at home the lookout bends closer, spies a comb, white ash of a dying brand like beeswax, says others run with honey, though these I can't make out. What won't, need to, even more to accept bitter with sweet, a son's wonder with words unkept. So then you get the next generation.